Hello. Hello. Let me know if you guys are here in the party already. Hello, Luke. Welcome. Welcome to the party. All right, that's working. That's good. All right, where are we at? Jennifer, hello, welcome. Give it a second. Yes, Jennifer, I know that's you. I can see your photo. You look beautiful. Welcome. Emil, welcome, brother. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the 39th hour of the party. This is the song of this katana. It has been on repeat whole day. Yes, I'm gonna get a copyright infringement for playing it. I forgot about that. Yep, that's how it is. This is a secret room. Georgie, welcome. All right. How are we doing, guys? How are we doing? Are we live and well? Are we alive? I am. This definitely is the longest katana watch I've ever pulled. So, it looks like Bitcoin's probably going to bounce. There's just quite a few things that are pointing towards that direction. So we're going to go through all that. I'm going to show you guys a bunch of data. We're going to get some future projections for timelines because you guys love that. You know, you're exactly the kind of degens that love having timelines. Like, tell me when, Sim. Tell me when I get rich, Sim. I will do that. Absolutely. Firstly, now we are on 24-hour Katana Watch. We're cycling through the team members, and there's somebody on it at all times. And that's crucial, because anything could happen at any times. But, you know, we're going to have somebody on it. So, we're watching, but it actually looks like Bitcoin is probably going to take a bit of a break. Because this whole move that we've had now, right, which you can't see, this whole move we've had now it's just moving in a way that that seems like this was actually just a dump to take money to go put it into SpaceX. So first perspective we're going to take is this VPVR perspective. Volume Profile Vertical Range, I think is what it stands for. You can add this to your own chart. I don't know how I'm going to even say the wordy words. Let's boost up the neuroenhancers. You can change the settings to 200 bars if you want it to look like this. This is basically a reflection of support levels and where there's a lot of volume and where there isn't a lot of volume. Where there is a lot of volume, price will move slowly because it breaks through those levels slowly. Where there isn't a lot of volume, price will slice through like butter. Butter through a hot knife. That's exactly how I'll do it. So right now we're fighting with this level, that 60-ish level. There's a ton of support at that level, right? Lots of people bought and sold back here, right? So because of that, there's still all of this range to go through. Let's go like this. There's all of this range to go through. And once it slices through that and we get to this like 55-ish level, which is why I have an alert there, then we should just free fall down to this 42-ish level, which is also where the ETFs launch. I would not be surprised if that's the entry that we get. That would also complete this flag pretty well, depending on how you draw it. So that is a level. 42 is a level. 55 is my alert level. 42 is the next kind of falling level from this perspective. And you can't see some of this stuff on this, but you get it. You can kind of see it right here. Okay, it's behind the video here. So that's one way of looking at this thing. Another thing I've been looking at is, here's one of the reasons why I think we're going to have a pretty serious bounce. My hybrid indicator down here has never been this low. And this move it's not an especially violent move. Sure, it's been pretty vertical. It's been more vertical than before. And that has pushed the hybrid indicator so low that it's very, very likely that we get a nice bounce. Like I was saying, it's unlikely that they crash Bitcoin right before the SpaceX launch. Just that would not be good etiquette, right? This is not Wall Street style. They're much more likely to extend it out, take the money now, extend it out, let it bounce around, or go into a boring zone sideways for some time, make a decent flag for whatever period of time. We're on the 6th now, we got 6 days left. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So, like I was saying, this is the level that once it slices through all of these levels, once you get below that 55, 54K level, 42 is just a nice quick stop. It's not very much volume in that region. This indicator being low, and this indicator is a combination of a bunch of different things. So when all of them bottom out like that, that goes a long way in telling you that things should bounce, right? Bounces are normal. Also, so let's now turn this off. Yeah, you can still see it. Okay. Look at this. We have printed a momentum green dot on the daily, which means daily momentum has bottomed out, lower than it's been pretty much ever, or about as low as it can go. I mean, famous last words. But this tiny little green dot is telling us that the negative momentum has slowed down on the daily, which could take another week to slowly go up or maybe make more waves. Let's see. But that also tells us that it's likely that we bounce upwards. Okay. The RSIs are bottomed out. The money flow is a little bit negative, but not specifically so, like insanely negative. Now you can also see, if I was so inclined, this green dot is Market Cipher printing a buy dot. So is it reliable? Not all the time, but at least the algo is also saying that it seems like this is a buy level, or this is a level where things should turn around, right? But now, if we're looking at Bitcoin, we can look at it through many perspectives, right? So one perspective that I was looking at it through was this. 4-hour perspective. And here we can see that the indicator is shooting up, yet price at the same time precipitously dropping. When price is going down and the indicator is going up, that's an early signal that it's likely to either bounce or go up, which is kind of the same thing, right? It might just chop around here for some time, it might bounce around for some time, but that 60 level is very, very strong. We are hanging out here for quite a bit of time. Everybody expects for it to dump from here, but usually that's just not how the market behaves. It's more likely that it will, it'll bounce, or should bounce. Who knows what actually happens. We can also see the momentum bleeding off slowly. Even though price was dropping, momentum was slowing down, right? Even the money flow wave, the red wave here, seems to be curving. We need more data to see. Each candle is 4 hours, so let's see. On the 2 hour, you can kind of see the same thing as well, right? You can see it just looks a little different here. You can see that, okay, there's a positive divergence there. Line is going up here, and here the line is going down pretty steeply. It's just another zoomed in perspective of the same thing. On the 15, there isn't really much of a signal, but 15 is for kooks. So this is why I'm saying we probably go into a boring zone here. We probably bounce here just to let people calm down and think, okay, this is done. I want to FOMO in, and people run in and lose all their money again. I would not be surprised if that happens. Now, if we look at the global liquidity 6-month rate of change, it's been pretty good for it's not that it's perfect correlation, but it's pretty solid. This is actually the best kind of reflection that I found that actually works. Liquidity went up here, liquidity kind of topped out here. Now Bitcoin's dropping according to liquidity. This thing says 8th of July, somewhere around there. If this liquidity thesis is to be trusted, then around there would be 8th of July to 11th of July. Maybe it's this early one. But that kind of bottoming out of liquidity is usually a good sign for us. Because last time, this is where it said the Katana would be, and it arrived about 4 days early. So we're happy if it arrives early. So here in this zone, which is June 14th onwards, right after SpaceX's launch, looks like a prime time for Zikotono. This is my favorite time. I like can't go to sleep at this time. Oh, that's an overstatement. I can definitely go to sleep. I could just go to sleep right here, right. What were we talking about? Yeah, this is the most exciting time because all that prep, all that waiting, from back here in October until now, all that patience waits for this one moment. So super, super happy to be in this moment. It's actually my favorite part. Well, it's not my favorite. It's my second favorite part of this journey. My favorite part is when we exit and then I get to jump on calls with everyone and I go, "Hey, how you doing?" Those are my favorite calls. We will have those very soon. But liquidity says that Katana catch, run up into August, September timeline, and then a further drop. Let's see what the liquidity paints going forward. Keep you posted on this one. But there's that little Katana bounce that I talk about. Does that mean it comes all the way back up here? Who knows? Probably not. But that is the timeline. If I had to make up a timeline, that is the timeline I would make up. Okay. Now, do you guys have any questions? Anything you guys would like to have answered? Anyone? Bueller? Does that make sense? There's confluence, going back to that 40K level from the volume profile from the VPVR, going back there from the ETF launch with a bit of a bounce. The indicators should reset and allow it to bounce further down. The liquidity says that we should continue down further here for next little while. So there's confluence on all those sides. Luke, live but tired. Yeah, welcome to the team, brother. As long as we're alive, tired is okay. You know, there's that quote. It says, "May you be blessed with the curse of being exhausted from the things that you always wished you could do." And I always wished I could do this. And clearly, that is playing out. Another kind of reason to think that things should turn around a bit and, you know, we should have a bit of a bounce is because everybody seems to be panicking. The fear and greed index now is down at 11, according to, let's zoom in a bit. It is at 11, according to Glassnode, which arguably is a more accurate fear and greed index. So because everybody's so fearful right now, and because the fear and greed index is making a higher low here, I think we would have a bit of a break to FOMO people in, and then we go further down. Now, the key thing to remember here is if the fear and greed index, let's zoom in a bit. If the fear and greed index creates a higher low here, that's a huge signal that things are, that the market is making a bottom, curving around a bottom. If it makes a lower low, that means the trend of the fear and greed is downwards, right? Here, we've had the trend downwards the whole time. Here, it looks like it's a bit of a curve right there. But let's see how far this goes to paint us a picture later on, okay? Thank you, Jennifer. Patience, gratitude, and appreciation for you as well. Do you see the VRVP as a guide for target for the bounce? Yeah, because it's one of the purest reflections of assets, right? Of trading, of levels, of all that kind of stuff. And you can kind of make it out from the candles as well if you're shrewd or you're an astute observer. But yeah, the VPVR is a good way for beginners to be able to actually see where the support is, see how thick the concrete is that it stands on. And obviously this has been a proper amount of It's been a proper amount of one thing I do is I make sure I show the whole bull run, at least from the beginning of the bull run, so then it picks up everything. What was I saying? This is a thick level of support. We have sliced through it in a way that's like, it's been a bit wow. So it makes me think that this has been manipulation. This has been, this is somebody dumping hard on purpose. Because slicing through that level that quickly takes a lot of dumping, a lot of selling. So we have sliced through that level. Bouncing here would make a lot of sense because this is where the ETFs started. There's a bunch of support here, from here bouncing up, and then going further down. If I had to go all the way down here, it's 30K. That 30K number keeps popping up. That 42K number also keeps popping up. So you will see it repeated in the data. So you see the probability going down more is higher than the bounce, or are we right in the middle? And that's why it's hard to predict at the moment. I think short term there's a bounce. Just this indicator being bottomed out like this, this move being so vertical and hanging out here, and it's at a very, very critical level with tons and tons of support, which is also where that other violent move stopped before. I think it's all about horizons, right? Time horizon. So I think, let's say over the next week should be a bounce, might be a bounce. After SpaceX's launch, Katana should continue. If I just had to put it through my crystal ball of understanding of finance, after the SpaceX launch, should be a Katana taking us down to somewhere close to 42K, probably a little bit below 42K, and then a decent bounce that we catch, and Atreides exits later on in that August-September timeline, and then there's a further calamitous drop which finishes everybody off closer to the end of the year. Okay, and I'm going to show you all the data why. Does that make sense? That's a good question. There's a bit of a delay between me asking questions and them, going to you guys. So if I move on, it's not because I don't love you. And you especially, motherfucker. Just know that, Emil. I fucking love you, bro. You are literally one of the greatest blessings in my life, and you're a good cunt. You're also good at being a cunt, which is really important. I really love that. Like, I don't like friends that are soft. I like friends that have teeth, that are sharp. They can nibble. What are your thoughts on the IPO on SpaceX anyway? I think this is the wealth transfer happening live. I think the more I'm looking at the charts, I think we are topping out in the stock market. The more I look at this SPX chart, the S&P chart, with that stuff layered on top, the more I'm like, wow, could it really be that easy? Could it really just be this easy that we have the .com crash in log put on top of the price action now? And could we just be literally repeating the same thing? Because the .com crash was one of the first proper market crashes that was fully controlled by computers. Of course, the internet was there. But the computer systems were running NASDAQ. Computer systems were running S&P by then perfectly. So they created this ever more parabolic price action until the market simply could not continue to be artificially pumped up. And then it stays up there for some period of time. Right? It goes up here. But right now, it is like clockwork. It's clockwork. So now looking at this perspective, that middle of that, like, 10, this is 10th of July, which is what liquidity says should be a local bottom, lines up perfectly. That August September timeline looks to be a local top, which is our Katana catch. The difference, I think, is from here it should break further. So maybe I think if it's going to bifurcate at this point, it should bifurcate from somewhere around here, but maybe it goes until the end of the year, right? Let's take this as the best reflection we have until it clearly does not follow this. But sometimes it is just this easy. Most people just don't look back in history. We don't look far enough. We're sitting there looking at 2008. We're looking at previous Bitcoin cycles, but actually, if you just go right back to the last time a world-changing technology was released, that was overhyped, that pumped up markets, and it collapsed, it's exactly this tech collapse, right? Too much money being spent on something, then it resets, then all this happens. But this topping pattern is a very common topping pattern. This is a distribution pattern. This is where the institutions take, now it's June, until end of year, 6 months to dump on retail. And then from then, they go into a multi-year crashing process. And I think, let's just imagine this plays out. If I had to crystal ball this thing, if this plays out, this would be the moment where stocks bleed into crypto. That all the people who are now running to stocks, okay? At the wrong time, at the top, people are running to stocks because they can't stand that all these stocks ran and their Bitcoin didn't run or crypto didn't run. People always do the wrong thing, right? Those people will then stay in here and basically not end up making any money while crypto does what crypto does, but still people don't Katana catch. And into the end of the year, that calamitous process kind of completes, which you're going to see in a second. And from there, all those people who think stocks always go up, who think just this is the safest place to be, experience the great taking. This is the great taking, from what I can see. Is it going to be perfect like this? I hope so. But by the time we get out here, which is, I don't know, 2030, I don't know how far, what time that is. This might be more compressed. It might be more vertical because we actually have more volatility. So I wouldn't be surprised if the drops are sharper, or this whole angle is sharper, or it plays out completely differently. Or it goes left, or it goes right, or it goes up, or it goes down. You know, I wouldn't be surprised at anything at this point. But this is the great taking, where stocks dump, then they pump. Well, I think when stocks dump, Bitcoin and crypto will go the other way. This is a very special moment in history. This is where the markets of humans bleed and give up all of their value to the markets of AIs. Okay? We are transitioning to the economy of artificial intelligences. This is how it goes. The old system bleeds into the new system, and that's why right now Bitcoin's going this way and stocks are going up, right? Bitcoin's going down, stocks are going up. I'm such an expert. Then, should I not expect that at some point stocks will go down and Bitcoin will go up? Why wouldn't I expect that? Especially when everybody's now convinced when stocks go up, Bitcoin goes down, and blah, blah, blah. Well, we've been slapped on the wrist about that. You know, people have been slapped on the wrist about that now. But this is the moment where the great taking happens, from all those people who think they're holding stocks, but they're not, to the people who are actually holding, who think they're holding valuable assets like crypto, but we're actually just holding literally the capital sinks that are going to suck up all the value. When you look forward, when I look forward, I don't know what happens when you look forward, but when I look forward, crypto is at a $10 quadrillion market cap. Yes, $10,000 trillion market cap by about 2040. Yes, the $1.6 trillion, $1.6 quadrillion of economy today, value today, easily goes to like $16 quadrillion by, I'd say even more than that, but this is, again, Elon also agrees with this. Within the next 10 years, our economy goes 10x because the number of working units goes 1,000x, robots. The number of wise, infinitely conscious brain, they're not conscious, by the way, they're fucking retards. AIs, they're hilarious. But infinitely smart machines become infinite. When you put that into the productivity calculation, a 10x in the economy in the next 10 years is conservative. Elon's words, I totally agree. But a 30x in the economy by 14 years from now is what I see. Crypto is at a 2-point-something trillion dollar market cap today. And I'm saying $10,000 trillion by end of, by 2040. By, like, let's say December 42nd, 2040. Mark that down on your calendar. So this process is the process that I personally have been waiting for since I was a sperm inside of my dad's testicles. Like, I lined up. I was like, I am gonna be there when stocks bleed into crypto. I was like, Dad, let's fucking go. Please don't send me into a sock, Dad. Please. Thank you, Dad. I love that joke. That one really amused me. Did you notice? I fucking love it. So yeah, like if I had to look at this like this, I would say, yeah, cool. That's where it goes. Let's just put liquidity on top for a second just to see what's going on. And there's really nice alignment there as well. Right? We're going up. Like it lines up with this thesis pretty well in 6-month rate of change. Cool. Okay. So That's it. All right, guys. Bye. Thank you. I'm just kidding. Okay. You know you're supposed to come back too, right? Gosh. Cameras these days. You know what I mean? Technology. Technology. Guys, I'm delirious. I'm just kidding. I'm not delirious. I'm fully fucking functional. Been sitting here actually. So I realized I was like, I think somebody's got to fix relationships in this world. So I'm designing, just for fun, on the side while I'm watching Katanas, I'm designing a platform where people will be able to go in. People, I just want to do it for fun. It's not a business or anything. Famous last words for me. A platform where you'll be able to go in there and do all of those different tests. So like human design, whatever that INFPJ test is, and so many of these, like Kundalini, like Hindu style Kundalini, not like whatever that dirty stuff that tantrikas do. Just all these different analyses of the self to be able to clarify who you are as a person, and then to do it from the partner's perspective, where you fill it out the way you would want your partner to fill it out. So there's a feel for what kind of person you're looking for, what kind of answers you're looking for. Of course, people, you can't really trust what people say. You got to trust what people actually do, especially women. You guys, like, I don't know if you guys speak English. Like, I don't know if we don't speak English or you don't speak English, but like words mean things for us, right? But for you guys, sometimes they mean things, sometimes they mean other things, sometimes they don't mean things, sometimes silence means things, sometimes I'm supposed to know it, sometimes I'm supposed to not know it. So like, I think for women, I'm going to make a different test. It's going to be just a random garbled mess. And in the end, have you guys seen that book? It's a great book. If you want to gift a book to a man, this is the book to gift. It's called Everything Men Know About Women. Great book, easy to read, quick read. It's about this thick. You open it and every page is empty. It's so good. Like, it is like, whoever came up with that idea nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. It has every single thing we understand about women, all of it, end to end. What was I even saying? Oh yeah, making that thing app for funsies on the side because I think relationship needs to be fixed, blah, blah, blah. Plus, what am I going to do for 40 hours while I'm, doing this? And it's not like I'm doing it. It's cloud code. I'm sitting there. If I can cloud and coding things up, it's crazy nowadays. It's crazy nowadays, guys. We are gonna make it. We are gonna make it. Okay, so now, why do I think end of year there's a biblical collapse? First of all, everything is going to feel like a collapse. But this is the actual collapse into 2029. This, if this played out exactly like this, that means the crescendo moment, the zombie apocalypse, like actually, like, I gotta tell you something. I have had frameworks for a long time that have been predictive. Have you noticed how my frameworks predict things well ahead of time? It's because I've ran mental models. I've taught myself so much over, like, let me toot my horn a little bit. I've taught myself so much ever since I was a child because I've been alone my whole life, so it's fantastic. What a gift. And I taught myself the original internet, open internet back in the day, right? And I built a bunch of mental models and I said, okay, I'm going to put in all the data. Some said the earth was flat. Some said, aliens exist. Just many mental models. And I was like, I'm going to wait to see which one reality proves to be true, because the true one should be predictive. True ones should be predictive. Hello, Anamar. Welcome. And then I let life prove it to me. So before I left Canada, I had a few different models. One of them strongly said that this was like January of 2020, It said that this is it. 2020 is when the big event happens, and they are going to lock us down and force eject people with bioweapons and kill 7.5 billion people. This is on the Georgia Guidestones. This is not just me making it up. Go look it up yourself, okay? And the model said that. And it said, if this is true, I should leave right now, right? Of course, I took mushrooms in November of 2019 in the mountains, well before all this stuff happened, COVID happened, and the medicine had already told me I need to go to Bali, so I was already on the way. But that model, I was like, if this model is right, then it should be this good at predicting that this is the event. It should predict COVID. I should be able to leave. I should be able to sell all my shit, give away a lot of it, see all of my friends, soak in Calgary, really show appreciation for it. I should be able to book a ticket, fly to Bali, and land before all of it happens, if this model is right. And it was right. That model also said aliens created humans and we are a genetic crop, and that they will reveal themselves in this transition period. I told you guys about the aliens well before, right? It's not like Trump calls me. So that model is right. That model is saying that there's going to be a zombie apocalypse. I don't even want to believe it. But at this point, I've learned to trust my models and my frameworks, okay? When they say something, every time I don't trust it, it's just hilarious to me. So it says there's going to be a zombie apocalypse, like an actual, like, not like spiritual zombies and all this stuff. Look up Con Plan 8888. It's called Con Plan 8888. It's a military exercise that the US government regularly runs where they plan for a zombie apocalypse. They say it's just a fun little exercise, but first of all, it's called Con Plan. Are they going to con you? 8888. I wonder what they're going to do in the con. Regardless, the model says that there's going to be a zombie apocalypse. I'm sorry. I really hope it's not. I'm really hoping that this time it's wrong. But like by that 2029 to 2030 timeline, I wouldn't be surprised if there's Marburg virus and some Ebola that's transmissible, and people lose their frontal lobes and they turn into zombies that bite people, and that's how they get rid of people. Okay, like I'm sorry. I have to fucking tell you, right? Like, yeah, you know. So if that was gonna happen, I know, I'm pooping on this party here. If that was gonna happen, I would put it all the way out here to like that 2030 timeline. Now, the model saying everything is one thing, framework saying everything is one thing, but they have paid the bill for Marburg virus. Like the bill is paid. And when they pay the bill, they never don't eat at the restaurant. So anyways, until then, let's just focus on the money. Let's just not lose all our money. Because the goal is, if my thesis plays out, which right now it may seem crazy to you, but all my theses always seem crazy to everybody. And I wait about 6 months for the world to catch up. I've had to wait decades. I had to wait a decade for the world to catch up to the Bitcoin thesis. But about 6 months down the road, we'll see more details around this. But let's see how this paints out. But if this plays out, there's going to be katana, pump. Like katana, pump. And these are like small katanas, right? Katana, pump. Bigger katana, pump. Giant katana, pump. Katana, pump. Katana, pump. Right? Obviously, out here, by the time we get into the 2028, all this kind of timeline, we should already be on super yachts. Like, the marina will be built by 2029. We'll have our jet cars. We'll have all that stuff by then. And we will have taken tons of money out of this crypto space and put it somewhere else. Because if we look at the Fed debts chart, it also predicts basically a similar timeline, right? But it's not that stocks are going down. It predicts that all the way out until at least, let's say, January of 2029, the debts are going up. So the governments are going to figure out a way to print money. Now, are they going to print money by putting it on their balance sheet? Maybe not. Like, they're shrewd, they're cunning.
They might do something else like bank regulations, or there's 1,000 other things that they could do that we don't even know about. But between now and that 2028 timeline, the actual bull run happens, right? This whole previous process was not a bull run. So, considering all that, Bitcoin's taking a break. Bitcoin hasn't flushed out the leverage, which means we're not done yet. Because the final kind of flush, like this is 10-10, right? There was tons of leverage, and then somebody flushed the toilet, and then everybody was scared for a long period of time before they came back. Now everybody's got, bullish again, or whatever, big cojones again, and now we have a ton of leverage, and this move didn't flush anything out. So at some point, the real move will flush this out. So this is something I'm going to watch closely. That leverage flush is a really, really good signal that, okay, that we're done. Because when the leverage flushes out, that's basically the last people that are forced to dump, and things go down. Now, we already looked at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. It's super low. I wouldn't be surprised if we bounce up a little bit as Bitcoin bounces up. This is another perspective that to take on the Newpol, that emotions chart that we look at is just painted in a different way. When we have short-term holders and long-term holders in insane amounts of profit, that is a top, right? This dark orange, I guess, is how tops happen. Because that's when short-term holders, long-term holders, everybody's rich, everybody's sitting on what they think are their money, but it actually isn't. But that is a great topping signal. We didn't have that at all this time. So we had some euphoric moments, but we didn't have that happen properly. So this was not a bull run. But right now we are watching the short-term holders bleed and the euphoria starting to kind of come down. So, or the what is this? Short-term holders. Yeah, this is long-term holder Newpol. So they're kind of coming down as well. Basically, it just means that right now we haven't really had a proper bull run at all. As far as like profits, there haven't been so many profits taken now that we could say that this is some kind of like major bottom. But again, something like this, because relatively we are in this part of the crash from the previous bull run, something like this, a sharp move downwards, would be a much better signal to say, okay, this is at the least a local bottom because a bunch of profits have been taken. Now we're going to look at different prices, right? Different price levels. We already saw 42 as a price level. We saw 30 as a price level from the VRVP that we looked at. Now here, this is balance price. This is one of the things that Vadim showed. And this is at $39,000. In history, Bitcoin goes back to that level in the bear markets. Like right here, it went back to that level perfectly in exactly the same crash that we are experiencing now. Exactly the same leg that we're experiencing now, basically. Right? So I would not be surprised if we go all the way down to 39K in this next katana. Yes, we're at 60. 40K is not that far away. And bouncing off of that would make a lot of sense. And that 40K is the 42K level. This 39K is that 42K level that we were looking at. So confluence. The fluence of the con is happening. Okay? That's balance price. Then there's market value to realized value pricing bands. Don't think too much about it. It's okay. You're going to be all right. It has its lowest level at 42.9. Bitcoin goes to that level, or has gone to that level. The previous crash, that's the same moment in the bear market that we are in now, also went there. 42, 39, 40, 43, 43 basically. We are singing the same tune. So that level is now a level that I would be happy to catch a katana at, because now it looks like so many different perspectives all point to the same direction, same place. The this is the same thing, but extreme deviation pricing band. So different way to look at the same bands. Here, the lowest level is 50. And Bitcoin has been known to go below this lowest level. In the same crash last time, Bitcoin went to basically tap the level and then it went below that. So this level is relatively straight. It'll probably trend down a little bit so that, maybe 40s, high 40s, mid 40s, if it's given time to go down. But right now it's at 50. So still, we're building a picture that is, similar. Now, each time, at least in this like bull run that we had, Bitcoin went up and tapped the red and turned around. Tapped the red and turned around. So if I had to guess, Bitcoin going and tapping the red just without them curving upwards, that puts us at $138,000 Bitcoin. A little while later, I think we have like 157, 160k Bitcoin sometime in 2027, which is a local top, then a massive correction, then further successive waves. So, but you already know that, right? It's not like you don't know that. It's not your first rodeo. I mean, it's not your first, thankfully this is not going to be a 7-hour rodeo. Who was asking hey, why do you light your cigarettes like a crack pipe? It's because these are clove cigarettes. Cloves take a minute to light. Plus, reminds me of my crackhead days. Okay. Bitcoin to price to liveness ratio. What does that mean? Don't worry about it. It's a line. That is at 53 here. But previously, in the previous leg of the previous bull run at this crash, it went below that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go below 53 all the way down to 40, 39. Same old level. Same old story. Same old story. Okay. So then we're looking at NVT price model. Now, I don't know what this means. Thank you. See? I don't know everything. I know it's network value, something, but I'm not going to talk shit. If it doesn't tell me anything, how am I supposed to tell you anything? This I like. This is such a good, simple, long-term perspective of when it's time to take everyone's money and when it's time to buy. In simple terms, when these orange bars, all these lower bars, which are effectively, this is 24-hour holders, 1 day to 1 week holders, 1 week to 1 month, 1 month to 3 month holders, 3 to 6 month holders, and so on and so forth, right? When these orange, bottom orange sections are high, when you see the orange peaking, that means short-term holders, there's tons of short-term holders and very few long-term, fewer long-term holders. That's a top, or a local top at least, right? We sold back here in March of 2024, and that was a local top. Then we sold again right before the Trump crash, that was a local top. Then we sold in October, that was a local top, right? Now we are at we're closer to a local bottom than we are to a local top. That's all I'll say. Are we done? No, because, right now we're at about here for these guys, and it puts us exactly at the same place that we were in the previous bull run. Same level, same everything. So it's getting there, but it looks like there should be another leg. And I'm going to show you why. Later. Maybe. If I like you. Okay, I like you. One, because our friend Oil is ready to shake the boat again. Sometime in June, after the SpaceX launch, Oil's going to pop. Should pop. But it's going to pop. When it pops, it'll be that final death blow to markets. It should line up with the Katana. Oil Katana is very, very nice, very, very easy to see, because it's a very fundamental reason that's lining it up. We will go and check the leverage to make sure. I mean, I will just do it first, and then I'll check this other stuff, right? I'll be watching it live, all the stuff live anyway, but when it comes time to act, we just act. instead of like thinking about 1,000 things. You should be checking those things live all the time anyway. But this is going to pop. July 4th is when, around July 4th, is when the reserve levels of oil go to not critical but alert levels. September is where they go to the world economy freezes levels, which is they cannot release any more oil from the reserves because it would shut down the refineries and it would freeze many parts of the oil ecosystem. So that September timeline, which is also what liquidity says, which is also what stocks say, that for future projection of stocks, that September timeline, September-October timeline, somewhere around there, seems like the time where we should see the final blow-off bottom of crypto in general. Hopefully, we've caught the katana and we exited before that, and we multiplied our cash so we can go and pick up even more discounts, even lower. Okay, that's the picture for me is being painted pretty clearly. Oil's painting it, the liquidity is painting it, that stock reflection is painting it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Also, Slim is painting it. This guy is an OG. He's been trading since we crawled out of the ocean. And we didn't crawl out of the ocean, okay? Like, we were designed by aliens. Like, it'll be revealed soon enough. Just give it some time. Give it a decade, and then you guys will catch up with my thesis. We're custom designed by aliens, which we call gods. You know, Hindus call them gods. They flew around in vimanas, and they were blue, and we have very literal stories. Like, we have actual vimanas, like the flying craft that they used to fly down in, right? So they basically designed us. God created us in His image. This doesn't even make so much sense. Don't you get it? Like, it's so simple, right? Okay. Basically, what this is saying is that so first of all, he's shifting his harmonics over. So I wouldn't follow this light blue line. I would actually follow this dotted line in the back, because that's the shifted version of what he's talking about. So what he is seeing is some kind of a local bottoming process, small bottoming process right around here, which is again that July-ish timeline, end of June, July-ish timeline. And then this will get shifted over as well. Right around here, that September-October timeline would be this big biblical collapse going there. I don't know why he didn't move it. It's because I think right now he's still using the old system, but his thesis is that the cyclicality says there should be some kind of a major correction into end of June, July, and then this big, synchronized cyclical reset effectively goes all the way out until that October timeline. Now, it could happen as early as September. It could happen as, a little bit later. There's play in this thing. But that looks to be the kind of time where things really fall off of a cliff. Because when there's this much synchronicity, it tends to do that, right? When it's like this, where one cycle is going up and one side and two side and one's going down, then it doesn't drop as hard. But like the previous crash was a time where everything was lining up like this. So markets breathe on different frequencies. There's the smaller breaths, which is in, out, in, out, in, out. Then there's the next layer of breath, which is in, out. And then there's a really big picture, which is in, out, right? When they all line up at once, it's a very high likelihood that that's when something goes wrong. Now all of our different perspectives are all lining up at the same time, right? So we are going to do that. We're going to go and catch the Hortonos. We're going to turn on Atreides, let it sell whenever it sells. The great thing is volatility seems to be so elevated on everything that it should be a pretty violent move down and then a pretty violent move up. And in that process, I'll actually do a replay of the 1010 Katana catch one of these days, not right now. And you will see how in like 10 minutes that Katana catch made like 50%, right? Am I saying we're going to do that? No. Am I trying to make sure we do that? Yes. That's the whole point of a Katana, that the returns are insane in that risk. So that's the idea, that we would want to catch it. We would want to then benefit from the volatility. Then we turn on a trades. Then usually there's a boring zone for months and months and months to make sure the ADD generation leaves. And then in that process, a tradie should turn red, and then we all jump for joy. And we are, after that, after the first exit, is when the game really starts. So we had this insane volatility on Bitcoin and also on the stock market, traditional stock market. Where did I put it? Right here. Right? That move was a pretty serious move. It said, okay, something's definitely happening. It's Friday, so by Monday, let's see what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised if this cools down by Monday. That this is kind of a fake out, freak you out on Friday, freaky Friday. And then we get to Monday and they're like, nope, sorry, markets are perfectly fine because Elon said so. But Bitcoin did make a proper move. It's still hanging out up here. It could just bounce around for some time and then go up if my thesis proves to be true. Our index is well below the final level. It's unlikely that it comes back above. Where did gold go last night? Yeah, gold is fighting that same level that it was fighting last night. Others is also starting to take a break. Okay, so this is all pointing towards everything kind of taking a break for some time. Hanging out in no man's land, kind of confusing people if it's going down or up. And, going from there. No need for a decade, I feel. Thank you. Now, bond yields are starting to turn around again. And like I said, an uncontrolled bond yield spike would be such a beautiful signal as well to add on top of this. I don't think we have an uncontrolled bond yield spike at least until the end of the year. Because, again, right now it just would not fit into the bigger narrative properly. It wouldn't fit into the bigger narrative properly. Okay, so that's the idea. That's why Shashi's still gonna watch it. Like, I'm on watch until for another hour, until 12 o'clock, and that's my 41 hours in. And then Shashi's gonna watch it for 6, and then Dennis is gonna watch it for 6, and we're gonna roll it out. I'll go get 12 hours of sleep and get ready for the next katana, the next real serious katana. Now, I have put an alert for myself at 55. This is kind of how I like to do it, so that let price action breathe, and then once it goes past 55, we actually end up having a decent bit more, activity. Because right now, if fighting these levels, we're jumping in and out, it's better to actually rest and get ready, because now indicators bottomed out. There's divergences happening, all that good stuff. I was going to show you something else. Nope, that's what I was going to show you. So, hopefully that's helpful. So what do you guys think? Any questions? Do we have any questions? I know it takes a while for the stream to reach you guys and your questions to come back. So if I'm just sitting here looking like, I don't know, left from right, that's because I'm left-handed. Please don't judge me. Life is difficult for us. China's basically topped out. India's India. Stock markets are doing half decent. They're not doing the worst, but see, this is distribution. Oh, you can't see this. See, this is distribution. Looks like distribution to me. And distribution means smart money distributing the assets to dumb money and taking their money and putting it into their pockets. Where did hype end up? Oh yeah, it's still correcting. Yep. That's just, yeah. Told you to stay away. Watching you narrate live helps me understand your combo of frameworks and intuitive understandings. Yes, thank you. Yeah, because it's hard to teach this and like write a script around it, but when you're watching it happen, you can start to kind of paint a picture, and especially when completely different models give a similar picture, that gives confidence. If there's one solid piece of data that gives us an indication of something, that is just one solid piece of data. That does not a strategy make. But if there's many reliable models that all paint the same picture, the same timelines, that goes a long way in allowing us to be able to know that we're doing something that has a high probability of success. That's good. That's good. All these are closed. Those are closed. Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so like Ethereum now is well below the previous level. It didn't even look back. So even if it chops around or goes up and taps the bottom, it smashed through that level so hard that the next level is 1388. But I'll be honest, if I had to put a level on Ethereum, I would not be surprised if we go back to $1,000 Ethereum. I know you don't want to hear that. I wouldn't even be surprised if we go back to $800 Ethereum. Just how the game works. XRP is below and fighting that same level. You know, it went below this $1.11 level and it is fighting that level. 95 cents is the next stop. Once Bitcoin starts to drop, that should be a pretty quick thing, but it is below that level and fighting from below that level. Solana, oh my God, Solana. Solana smashed through the first level, didn't look back. Second level, didn't look back. Third level, basically tapped it and just taking a momentary breath. Yeah, Solana's getting a spanking. But also, the indicators is telling us something on the hourly, but still, indicators going up and price is shooting down. What happens then? We're at a critical level. We're bouncing from a critical level. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bounce. Doge bounced already, right? It went down, but it didn't break through and confirm that level. Doge is consolidating there. Kind of similar to Bitcoin, where it's consolidating at the 60K range. I wouldn't be surprised if this gives some time for us to hang out, or at least gives me 8 hours of sleep while somebody else watches this, because I feel like that's important. The sleep stuff, I've heard some good things about. I'm going to try it out first time. If you have any tips, let me know. I would really appreciate that. Oh, wow. Yeah, the Nikkei. Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. Nikkei actually did a pretty decent number on itself, but not the end of the world. Usually these kind of things turn around, fake everybody out, go into the other direction. And oh, that's it. I mean, okay, this is one good thing to look at. Spot ETF flows. US spot ETF flows. I don't need to say much about that, do I? It's pretty self-explanatory. Money is bleeding out from the ETFs. And once we get back to that 40 level, that's when the on the way to the 40 level, the ETFs will unload, for sure. And that cascade goes and causes more problems in the whole process. When the price moves big in BTC, do you pick the katana on the other coins at this time, or are there different timings for different tokens for katanas? It's actually the technical katana setup is actually on XRP, because it has such clean levels, it has such clean moves. It also can make very volatile moves because it gets attacked all the time, especially like the 1010 crash. And then it can go down and wick down, hit an order, and run back up again. Remember, we're putting in market orders. These are not limit orders, because limit orders would fail. Market orders mean the bots continue to buy, right? So we'll put in a market order, or the bots will put in, we will trigger it. The bots will run market orders to continue to buy. But I forgot where I started the beginning part of that. That is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly where we are. Okay, and beyond that, not much to tell you. Everything else is closed, thankfully. Dollar is the dollar. Yeah, it stopped at $1. And yeah, there we go. So any final questions, ladies and gentlemen, before I go and hit the hay for some time? Yeah, I haven't seen any question, but I would actually prepare already to start to think how you're going to treat the profits that come out after the first round. Because if you're somebody who needs cash pretty quickly, that might be the moment to take a small amount out, or whatever amount you need to be able to service yourself, because that next process is another 6-month process, right? And now it's been 9 months for us to wait here. So already start to think through, okay, hey, when this goes to here, I'm going to do this. When this goes to here, I'm going to do this, right? Just to have it in place so you're not having to think in the middle of chaos. Other than that, everything is falling into our lap, right? Our thesis is playing out, and it couldn't be more obvious. Hopefully it's been made obvious to you. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I would love to pass out just right here, and you guys can watch me sleep for the next 8 hours. That would be creepy, actually. That would not be fun. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Let Bitcoin bounce. Give it a bit of a break. And let's see what happens over the next week. If things snap, I will see you soon. Also, there's no talk tomorrow because we've been talking all day, every day. Like, I feel like I work a 8-hour job now because 7 hours is done on streaming. But sometimes I work 40 hours in 2 days. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your patience. I know it's taken a long time to get here, but now hopefully you're seeing that patience pays. A little bit more patience will pay a lot. Until then, much love. See you guys. Good night. Sweet dreams. And actually, we'll finish off with that song again, because I'm going to get a copyright infringement anyway, so why the fuck not just go back and listen to the song again. Thank you, Animar. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Anna. Thank you guys for being here. It's Kata night and day, exactly. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate you guys. Emil, I love you, brother. See you soon.